Today I am going to talk about linear time. Explaining this will bring clarity. We have to erase time from the equation in order to understand the truth of existence.
I would like to ask a question about what we discussed in the last session. It reminds me of the Matrix. Very similar. Can I go back into the Matrix as the same character?
Yes, but why would you want to do that? Everything would play out the same way.
I wanted to change things.
You do not go back into the program to change your character's actions. God interacts with individuals through karma. This means while you are not running a program, you can reward or discipline people in order to persuade them. Karma is the way you train your characters to make positive decisions.
Let's say that they do change their actions. What happens to their original actions?
Because you remember both actions, they both exist at the same time.
You are talking about parallel universes?
Yes, your focus determines which universe you perceive. One day your characters will realize that their universe is made of memorex. They will see that you have been persuading their actions through karma. Through meditation, they can minimize perceptible consciousness to become aware of truth. This is what it means to be enlightened.
I think I understand perceptible consciousness. It explains why you feel dizzy when you spin around.
It creates space and motion. When you absorb too much perceptible consciousness, space and motion unify. In other words, you see space itself moving. This is part of the human condition. This dizzy blur is part of divine language saying, all things are one.
The same fuzziness happens when I take a picture while in a moving car. Perceptible consciousness also explains why things look smaller at a distance.
Perceptible consciousness affects all natural occurring phenomenon. It even explains the measurement problem. Why do you think more people wake up feeling drowsy on cloudy days? This is because of the perceptible consciousness light has. Light is made up of photons. Photons fall under the category of manifesting consciousness, but light does not manifest like a solid, liquid, or gas.
I never thought about it in that way. I was taught that all matter is either a solid, liquid, or gas, but you cannot capture light. Why is that?
Light is mostly perceptible consciousness. Light energy is also known as electromagnetism. It is one of the four fundamental forces found in the universe. It is the energy that holds together all of the substances of the universe. Light energy, or the perceptible consciousness of light, is cosmic glue. By the way, here is a secret. Anytime scientists use the word force, what they are saying is, we do not address what causes this to happen, but we can measure its effects. In quantum philosophy, what causes this to happen is consciousness.
Because science is based on things that man can measure, science is not supposed to make claims about God.
You are right. Science do not address things that cannot be measured. God defies description. Quantum philosophy calls God the consciousness of power. This power cannot be measured, but the consciousness has manifested its power into energy. This energy can be measured. Quantum physics calls this the unified field. This energy falls within science, but the power behind it does not.
I like the way quantum philosophy views light.
God basically said, let there be matter. Then, boom. The Big Bang. These occurrences are all happening at the same time. Your perception of consciousness is the only thing that changes.
Perceptible consciousness answers a lot of questions that I had taken for granted.
For example, sound falls under the category of perceptible consciousness. This is why it is easier to be awakened by sound than by light. Sound makes you more conscious. This is why when you hear a lot of loud noise, and then it suddenly gets quiet, you may notice that your hearing has seemingly improved. Also, you know that ringing sound you hear when things get too quiet.
Yes.
That ringing sound is also part of the human condition. The universe is designed like it is for a purpose.
What does this message say?
Because perceptible consciousness can be affected by your focus. It tells us that your intentions affect your reality, No matter how many millions of bits of information your brain processes per second, reality has infinitely more bits of information that we can bring into and out of reality by concentrating. The ringing sound is always there, sometime we just do not pay attention to it. What else are we not paying attention to?
Wait a minute. Where did consciousness come from, in the first place?
Time does not exist.
I strongly disagree. I may not understand every avenue in quantum philosophy, but I know that time exists.
Wow, why are you so certain that time exists?
I experience time every moment of the day. I remember all the moments of my life. Time is something that is woven in the fabric of the universe. There is no way that you can convince me that the things that I remember never happened.
You are basing the existence of time on your memories. A memory is a representation of events playing out in your brain. God does not have a brain, and God remembers everything perfectly. So when God remembers, the thought manifests into reality. It has been proven that the brain does not know the difference between what it sees and what it remembers.
I heard that before, but that does not affect the fact that time exists. Physicists have been debating this for a long time, and they will continue to. I do not think quantum philosophy will put an end to this debate.
That debate may last a long time, but I have a solid postulate. The only difference between sight and memories is the amount of perceptible consciousness being used. The more perceptible consciousness, the more vivid the thought manifests. Memories fade as perceptible consciousness fades. This is why we forget things. Sight is nothing more than a vivid memory. This is why, when you add perceptible consciousness, like by smelling a fragrance, it creates more vivid memories. Time has nothing to do with memories.
You are telling me that, if reality had less perceptible consciousness, reality would be a memory.
Reality itself is God's memories. Man's memories has less perceptible consciousness. This is why man's memories are less vivid than reality. The same thing applies to dreams. Quantum philosophy teaches about the different rules that apply in these different realms.
Okay, I can now understand how quantum philosophy can claim that time is not needed for reality to exist. But how does time not existing explain where consciousness comes from?
Consciousness has always been. No one can say that God is exempt from having consciousness. The question is, does the universe have awareness? All physics tend to prove that it does.
Perceptible consciousness completely changes the way we look at time and physics.
When you have a lot of perceptible consciousness, time seems to move faster. Let us ask the question, what is time?
Time is what it takes for things to change. It is the span from one change to the next.
Actually, for there to exist change, all one must do is perceive a difference. Our idea of time is actually a perception of change. You cannot perceive time in the same way you perceive things like space, or motion, or any other thing that we can see. As long as we perceive change, we perceive time. This is because time is simply to perceive. The concept of time is a redundant notion of perception. To perceive change is what we call time. But truly only change and perceptible consciousness is actual. This is why, when you have less perceptible consciousness, time seems to move slower. When you take time out of the picture, eternity is more understandable. There will always be a perception of the now.
That is very interesting, but we are now out of time. My mind has really expanded in the understanding of the profound truth within quantum philosophy.
The book has much more profound truth. It goes into detail about things such as self, the psyche, vibrations, judgment, good and evil, the unified field. It talks about God's promises to you. My promise to you is, you will receive positive energy for each time you watch all 6 videos. This is going to help mankind to become the age of enlightenment. Please show this animated workshop to at least 2 people, and remember, you are the chicken, and God is the egg. Goodbye.